So check your answers with mine. Also, if mine are incorrect, I did these really quickly, so. So number one, you just needed to find the equation. It does say the curve of best fit, but curve and line of best fit are the same thing. It does say rounded to the nearest hundredths, so you should have 2 decimal places. I don't know what that sound is, but please stop that. 2 decimal places for each. Y equals 4.42x plus 105.85. Questions on that one? Skip number 2 because it's asking about quadratic best fit, and we haven't touched on quadratics. When we get there, that's when we'll touch on that again. Number 3, you need to change the years to 0, and then how many years has it been since? When you found that equation, it should have looked something like this. That's if you just wanted to write it down. That's not really what it was asking, though. This one was asking, in which year would you expect to find expect to have 2.5 million voters? In that question, are we looking for X or are we looking for Y?
The Y. Wait, which one?
Well, first, we'll go back to that. Does the year depend on the voters, or does the voters depend on the year? Voters depends on the year. So voters is our Y value. So in which year would we expect to have 2.5 million voters? Is that asking for the X or the Y? It gives you the Y, that 2.5 million. So if you put 2.5 in for X, you got an incorrect answer. What you needed to do was find which year would give you 2.5. So you could have done that a couple different ways. If you were in your calculator, you could have looked at your table to find when does your Y value hit 2.5. It hits 2.5 at 29. Remember, in Desmos, you have to kind of play the guessing game with Y's. So you would put in random X values until it gets to 2.5 or over 2.5 for your Y's. So you would have to do that until you get 29. But 29 is just how many years after the first year. To find the actual year, you would need to take the first year, add 29, and you would get 200. Can we change what year it is? Can we change what year it is? No. So years is usually an independent variable. It has to be X. Okay. Do we have any questions on those two? Or need to see how either were done? So, like I mentioned, we're not taking a test. The only people who are going to be taking a test is if they're not here for the activity today. Or if while we're doing this activity, they aren't helping out with the activity and I get word of that, then they will have to take the test. But most of you will not be doing that. But yes, for the activity, it will say that. So I'm going to give you guys the option. You guys need to get in, I need 7 groups of 3 and 1 group of 2. You can either choose your groups, or I can choose them for you. Would you like to choose your own groups? Raise your hand if that was a yes. I saw some heads nodding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that means of 23 of you, whatever that math is, more than half of you would rather me choose your groups. Sure. So those 9, choose who you want. Kind of move to where you, whoever you want to group with, if you were one that wanted to choose your group. Abina, you're moving over here. Okay. So you guys are going to be a group of 3. You guys, and those were all the people that. Mariana, do you want to stay in that group? You guys are now a group of 3. You guys want to stay in this group? Stay. Stay. You guys are now a group of 3. You guys want to stay in that group or move? You guys are now a group of 3. You guys want to stay in this group or move? You guys are now a group of 3. Move you. Michael, or do you guys want to switch? You guys have to decide. I need 2 groups of 2. I need 2 volunteers. Cat, Abu. This is going to be me explaining how this activity is going to work. There is lots of pasta. Who wants to hold this? You're going to hold it at the end, just like that. You're going to face it. Alright, so in your groups, someone is going to be, and you guys can rotate, someone's going to be holding the pasta noodle, someone's going to be putting things in, someone's going to be recording. I would, if you're in a group of 3, rotate. If you're in a group of 2, you guys are going to have to do a little bit more. Your goal is to see how many pennies does it take to break a noodle. Some of these are going to get really big numbers, some of them may not be. Are we going to find your own data to find that it does it? Yes. You're going to put pennies in one by one until the noodle snaps. So make sure your bag is open as far as possible. Pull the noodle at the end. Count the pennies as you put them in.
Okay. 29. 49.
So you're gonna get a piece of paper that explains all of
Thank you,
this.
the 29. 29 cents. Thank you.
I'll take that. The noodle you can throw.
What a noodle. You couldn't use that.
You don't know how many hands have touched these noodles. I wouldn't. So the pennies I have sanitized, and we'll sanitize again. So you don't have to worry about that. The noodles actually not, because when they break, I throw them away. So that was an incorrect statement on my part. But let me pass out 2 things to all of you. Each group will have one instruction sheet as well as one rubric. Make sure that you guys put all of your names on this. Make sure you all are working on this. If I find out that any of you were not working on this, you will have to take the test instead. So is it like a group lab? But like science turns into math.
Yeah, make it. Angel hair spaghetti. Come on.
Why angel hair?
It's actually not angel hair.
Okay,
This one is. But angel hair breaks better than regular spaghetti. Otherwise, we have like $2 and pennies going for regular stuff.
Hey.
Yes.
On the back of the instructions are all of the questions you will need to answer. Listen, there is a table for where you need to fill in your data. The main things for this is at the beginning, you'll decide, do you want to start with 1 or 2 spaghetti noodles? And then you'll continue adding 1 or 2 noodles. So you'll decide that. That's number 1. You will not change once you decide one of those. So I would highlight whichever one you guys decide. You guys need to collect at least 5 data sets. You guys can use the room and spread out to the hallway. Some of you will need to go out to the hallway because you need space. 1 person from each of your groups come get supplies.
I'm old. I have Alzheimer's. And my leg.
Everyone take a bag.
I have arthritis. I am old and I have arthritis.
I'm going to give each one 1 cup to start, and you guys can come back and grab more. Thank you. That's good. Thanks for the money. You guys also need spaghetti noodles, so I will bring those around to you.
How many spaghetti noodles do you want?
We'll do 2.
I'm going to bring you
Yeah. Not tasty, come on.
I like the last part.
Yeah, I like the mustard.
Oh, good lord.
Add more later. Add more flavor.
You guys
That's not me instructions.
Are you sleeping?
You need to have it not
This offends me very.
Make sure you guys read the directions before you start.
No. Kill I get it. It's down at 2.
Before you start. Jesse, there are 2 groups of 2. This one and that one. Choose which one you want to be in.
Put it in the bag.
Make sure you guys read the instructions. Make sure you guys read the instructions before you start, otherwise you will make mistakes. Make sure you're only holding the ends.
Yeah, alright.
We're getting more petty. You can come up to me and get some more. Make sure you're holding them only at the end.
I don't know.
Yeah, you
It's,
that makes sense. Okay, put the money in
this
the
over
bag.
here. Okay.
Give me your money.
So, alright, hold on.
No. How did that?
You're holding them at the very end.
Let's put these things into the thing.
And then we count on watching it, put it on the table, and then we do her work.
Yeah,
And then if